Peppa Pig. I love you, Daddy Pig.
What are we doing today, Daddy?
asked Peppa one morning. Today, said Daddy Pig, we're going on a surprise adventure. Ooh, gasped Peppa and George, bouncing up and down in their seats. When Daddy Pig had everything ready, he called Peppa and George. Are you ready for your dadventure? He asked.
Yes, Daddy,
they cried, giggling. First stop, the supermarket, said Daddy Pig.
That doesn't sound very adventure-y,
said Peppa. You'll see, Daddy Pig replied. Daddy Pig zoomed around the supermarket with the trolley. This is how you shop in style, he cried, dancing and juggling with the food, then rolling the tins down his arms and into the trolley. Peppa and George clapped their hands.
Go, Daddy!
Peppa, George and Daddy Pig filled the trolley to the very top. Plunk, plop, crash. I think that's everything, said Daddy Pig.
I think that's everything in the shop,
said Miss Rabbit.
Daddy,
said Peppa as they put their food in the car.
I love shopping in style.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. Next stop, lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig, announced Daddy Pig.
Lunch isn't an adventure, Daddy,
said Peppa.
We have lunch every day.
Yes, but do you have it on a pirate ship? asked Daddy Pig.
No,
said Peppa. Arr! cried George in his best pirate voice. Everybody hopped on board the ship for a special pirate picnic made by Daddy Pig. Goodness, said Grandpa Pig. This delicious food is worthy of the captain's table.
Daddy,
said Peppa,
I love pirate picnics.
Me too, said Daddy Pig, munching away.
Where are you off to next, my little pirates?
asked Granny Pig. I need to do a spot of work, said Daddy Pig.
Oh,
sighed Peppa.
Work's boring, Daddy.
Not my work, Peppa, said Daddy Pig. My work is an adventure. He pointed over to Miss Rabbit, who was waiting for them in her helicopter.
Ready to fly to work, Daddy Pig?
asked Miss Rabbit. We are indeed, said Daddy Pig.
Wow,
gasped Peppa and George, buckling up. They waved goodbye to Granny and Grandpa Pig, and then Miss Rabbit zoomed them across the sky.
Daddy,
called Peppa over the noise of the helicopter.
I love going to work.
Me too, called Daddy Pig. Miss Rabbit landed the helicopter at the playground. First, all the holes need filling with concrete, said Daddy Pig. Peppa and George sat in the driver's seat of a big, loud truck and poured concrete all over the playground.
Daddy,
shouted Peppa,
I love pouring concrete.
Me too, Daddy Pig shouted back. And now it is time to test all the play equipment to make sure it works, said Daddy Pig.
Hooray!
cheered Peppa, running to the seesaw.
Whee!
cried George, zipping down the slide and flying over the wet concrete.
Where to next, Daddy Pig?
asked Miss Rabbit. The fair, please, said Daddy Pig.
Righty-o,
said Miss Rabbit. At the fair, Peppa, George and Daddy Pig filled all the holes with concrete. Then they tested all the rides. twice.
Daddy,
said Peppa.
I love the fair.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. We have one last job, said Daddy Pig. We must sign our work. Peppa, George and Daddy Pig gently pressed their hands into the wet concrete. Now everyone will know who poured this amazing concrete. Miss Rabbit flew everyone back to the car.
Daddy,
shouted Peppa.
I love your job.
Me too, agreed Daddy Pig. When they got home, Mammy Pig asked Daddy Pig how their day was. Oh, just a normal day, really, said Daddy Pig. We did a little shopping, had some lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig, and then I had to do a spot of work. He winked at Peppa and George. Peppa and George winked back at him. After their baths, Daddy Pig tucked Peppa and George into bed.
Daddy,
said Peppa.
I love...
Peppa stopped to yawn. Yes, Peppa, said Daddy Pig.
I love you, Daddy,
said Peppa. I love you too, said Daddy Pig. I love both my little adventurers. After such a busy day, the two little adventurers soon fell fast asleep.
Daddy Pig,
said Mammy Pig when he came back downstairs. What are these? She held up the pirate costumes, hard hats and photos from the rides at the fair.
I thought you spent the day shopping, having lunch with Granny and Grandpa Pig and doing some work.
Well, said Daddy Pig, and then he told Mammy all about his day. Mammy Pig was very impressed. I love you, Daddy Pig, she said. You make every day an adventure. The Peppa Pig, I Love You, Mummy Pig. It was very early in the morning, and Peppa and George had woken up Daddy Pig and dragged him to the kitchen.
We want to make Mummy a surprise breakfast,
said Peppa excitedly. Yawned Daddy Pig. Well, I am a bit of an expert at making pancakes.
Yippee! cheered Peppa. Mummy loves pancakes.
Upstairs, Mammy Pig was in bed. She could hear lots of noise. Bang, crash.
Oops, Mummy!
shouted Peppa.
We need you, Mummy!
Mammy Pig got out of bed and went downstairs.
We're making you a surprise breakfast, Mummy,
explained Peppa.
But it went a bit wrong.
Surprise, mumbled Daddy Pig. How lovely, said Mammy Pig, smiling. Why don't you tidy up the mess, said Mammy Pig, and I'll finish the breakfast. Mammy Pig tossed the pancakes high up into the air and straight onto everyone's plates.
Wow, Mummy,
Peppa and George cheered.
You're amazing.
And these are delicious, added Daddy Pig, tucking in. After breakfast, Peppa whispered to Daddy Pig,
Let's take Mummy to the beach.
Great idea, Peppa, whispered Daddy Pig. It is her favourite.
Mummy,
cried Peppa,
we're taking you on a surprise trip.
How lovely, replied Mummy Pig. I'll just get my things. Mummy packed her bag. Then everyone hopped in the car.
Let's go,
cheered Peppa. Oh, how lovely, said Mummy Pig, stepping out of the car. The beach in the snow. Oh, sighed Peppa, it is very cold. Not to worry, said Mummy Pig. She put out nice warm clothes for everyone, and then a table, some chairs, and lots of toys. Thank you, Mummy, said Peppa. Peppa built a snow castle, while George and Daddy played catch. You relax, Mummy, said Daddy Pig. George, catch! The ball flew through the air and was about to land on Peppa's snow castle. Mummy, shouted Peppa. We need you, Mummy. Mummy Pig jumped up and caught the ball just in time. Wow, Mummy, gasped Peppa. You're brilliant. How about we have a nice lunch, suggested Daddy Pig, getting the picnic things out. But just as everyone was about to eat, there was a great gust of wind. Whoosh! The food was whipped up off the table and up into the air. Mummy, cried Peppa, we need you, Mummy. Mummy Pig grabbed the umbrella and used it to catch all the picnic food. Wow, Mummy, gasped Peppa, you're so clever. Let's throw snowballs into the sea, said Peppa after they had eaten. So Daddy Pig, Peppa and George headed off to the sea while Mummy Pig read her book. Daddy Pig and Peppa had lots of fun, but when it was George's turn, he accidentally threw Mr. Dinosaur into the sea instead. Sobbed George, watching his dinosaur float away. Mummy, cried Peppa, we need you, Mummy. Mummy Pig ran towards the water's edge. She saw Mr. Dinosaur, pulled off her coat and dived into the cold sea to get him. Ooh, she gasped, it is a little chilly. She swam over to Mr. Dinosaur, then picked him up and swam quickly back to shore. Dinosaur! Arr! Growled George happily. Wow, Mummy, said Peppa. You're so brave. Peppa, George and Daddy Pig dried Mummy Pig with towels, and soon she was nice and warm. I think it's time to head home, said Daddy Pig. Good idea, agreed Mummy Pig, packing up their things. Goodbye, Snowy Beach, sang Peppa all the way home. After dinner, Mummy and Daddy Pig helped Peppa and George get ready for bed. Then they tucked them in with a story. Good night, Peppa. Good night, George, said Mummy Pig. Good night, bestest Mummy in the whole world, giggled Peppa. Mummy and Daddy Pig headed downstairs, but just as they sat down, they heard Peppa shout, Mummy, we need you, Mummy. So Mummy Pig went back upstairs. Yes, Peppa? I love you, Mummy, said Peppa, giving Mummy Pig a great big hug. Hurry, Mummy Pig, said George, and he gave her a great big hug too. I love you both, said Mummy Pig, very much. Now good night, and I'll see you in the morning. This is for you, said Daddy Pig, giving Mummy Pig a present. Mummy Pig opened it to find a great big bar of chocolate inside. Ooh, thank you, she said, delighted. Then she unwrapped the bar and saw that someone had already had a little nibble. Daddy Pig, she said, smiling. Daddy Pig looked very guilty and went bright red. I love you, Mummy Pig. The end. Peppa Pig. Peppa's Post. One day, Mr. Zebra the postman delivered a very important letter to Peppa and George's house. Look, George, cried Peppa, running to the front door. It's for us, grunted George excitedly. I wonder what's inside. "It's your tickets for Mr. Potato's marvellous theatre show," said Mummy Pig, helping Peppa open the envelope. "Oh, goody," gasped Peppa. "I love the theatre and I love Mr. Potato." That afternoon, Mammy and Daddy Pig drove Peppa and George to the Grand Theatre to meet Madame Gazelle and their friends. When they arrived, the show was about to start. "Please welcome," said a loud voice, "your friend and mine, Mr. Potato." "Oh, wow!" the children gasped all the way through the show. After it finished, they gave Mr. Potato a huge round of applause, and Madame Gazelle gave everyone a special envelope to take home. Daddy Pig helped Peppa and George read their letter from Madame Gazelle. The next morning, they followed the map to playgroup. "Welcome, little ones," Madame Gazelle beamed after the mummies and daddies had left. "Today we will be putting on a pantomime, and there will be a special guest coming." "Ooh!" everyone gasped. "Now, children," continued Madame Gazelle, "we have lots to do. First, we must make the posters and invitations for the pantomime." When they'd finished, everyone gave their invitations to Mr. Zebra. He raced off to deliver them. The first one was for Mummy and Daddy Pig. Mr. Zebra handed Mummy and Daddy Pig their invitation to the pantomime. "How lovely," said Mummy Pig when she opened the envelope. "Of course we can come." Mummy and Daddy Pig gave their reply to Mr. Zebra, and he raced off to deliver the other invitations. Later that morning, the playgroup doorbell rang. Ding dong! It was Mr. Zebra with an enormous parcel for all the children. "It's a dressing-up box," whispered Peppa to Susie. "A very big one." "Your costumes are here, my little stars," announced Madame Gazelle. The dressing-up box was full of wonderful costumes. Peppa and her friends picked their outfits and got ready. "Now you must practice your lines," said Madame Gazelle. "Peppa, you can start." "I'm Little Red Riding Hood," began Peppa. "I'm going to visit my grandma." Danny Dog was dressed as a big bad wolf. "I'm going to eat Little Red Riding Hood," he barked. "Wonderful acting, Peppa and Danny," said Madame Gazelle. The children were still practicing when the doorbell rang again. Ding dong! "It is Mr. Zebra with more post," announced Madame Gazelle. The children opened the parcel and found replies to their invitations. "Fabulous news!" exclaimed Madame Gazelle. "Everyone can come to our pantomime, even our mystery guest." "Who is the mystery guest, Madame Gazelle?" asked Peppa. "Is it the Queen?" "You will have to wait and see," replied Madame Gazelle. "Oh," sighed Peppa, a little disappointed. It was almost time for the pantomime to start. Everyone was arriving. Peppa peered around the curtain. She could see the mummies and daddies, but she couldn't see a mystery guest. "Please find your programs and take your seats," said Madame Gazelle. "Our pantomime is about to begin." "Ladies and gentlemen," said Madame Gazelle, "welcome to our pantomime." The children leapt onto the stage, and everyone stood up to take photos. Click, click, flash, flash. "Please," said Madame Gazelle, "for the sake of the actors, no photography." The parents quietly sat back down in their chairs, and the show began. "I'm Little Red Riding Hood," began Peppa. "I'm visiting my grandma." "I'm the Big Bad Wolf," said Danny.
I'm pretending to be Grandma, then I'm going to eat everyone. I'm the hunter, said Pedro. I'm chasing the big bad wolf away. Ooh! Wow! The parents gasped all the way through the performance. When the pantomime finished, the children bowed. Everyone gave them a huge round of applause, except for Mr. Zebra, who was so tired from delivering all the letters that he had fallen fast asleep. "Where's the mystery guest?" Peppa whispered to Susie. Just then the clapping stopped, and a loud voice said, "Please welcome our special guest, your friend and mine, Mr. Potato." "Mr. Potato is more famous than the Queen," whispered Peppa excitedly. "What a marvellous performance!" said Mr. Potato, leaping up from his hiding place next to the stage. "This pantomime was the best I have ever seen." "Hooray!" Hooray! Cheered the children. They loved their pantomime, but they loved meeting Mr. Potato even more. The end.
Hi kids, did you have fun watching this video? Then like and subscribe for more.